Hours of the morning, Clinton becomes the first Democrat since FDR to be elected to a second presidential term. I'm Barbara Porter.
Arthritis. It hurts. Now get fast temporary relief from minor arthritis pain without side effects. Try SunSource Arthritis Relief, an all-natural homeopathic medicine that stimulates your body's natural healing process while giving temporary relief of symptoms. No side effects, all natural. SunSource Arthritis Relief. It works. At food, drug, and health food stores. Call for information about the growing line of SunSource homeopathic products distributed by MindBody. 800-777-2000. Use as directed.
How would you like to be able to read a 500-page book in less than an hour and remember it as if you just watched your favorite movie? The Reading Genius Home Study course makes it easy. Reading Genius lets you read 10 pages a minute or more while locking the information into your long-term memory. This new reading technology has been used by cadets at West Point and executives at Apple Computer and National Semiconductor. Call now for Reading Genius, 1-800-480-7122. That's 1-800-480-7122.
Every state in the Union had a decline in turnout.
Curtis Gans, the director of the Committee for the Study of the American Electorate, commenting on the less than 50% voter turnout for Election 96. Most experts agree it's the worst figure in 72 years and could be the worst showing since 1824. Gans believes he knows why.
We run our campaigns on attack ads that make everybody look awful and cast a pall over the entire political system. We've had misaligned political parties, one to the right of the American Center, the other standing for nothing durable.
The voters in the last presidential election of this century kept Republicans in control of the House and Senate. The Monday morning quarterbacking has begun. The Christian Coalition has its take on why Republican presidential candidate Bob Dole lost the election. Correspondent Ross Simpson has more.
Executive Director Ralph Reed says there's a growing sentiment in the religious community that born-again or evangelical conservatives can no longer allow a person who has waited longest and is next in line to be nominated as the next GOP presidential candidate. Reed says this election was lost on the issues, not integrity.
For the first time in nearly half a century, Bob Dole is just a private citizen. He says he'll sit back and watch for a few days, then start standing up for what he thinks is right. NASA set to launch a new probe to Mars minutes from now, weather permitting. It replaces one that disappeared mysteriously 3 years ago, and it will take 10 months for the craft to reach the red planet. 65-year-old Russian President Boris Yeltsin reclaimed his presidential powers, including control of Russia's vast nuclear arsenal, less than 24 hours after having heart bypass surgery. American heart surgeon Michael DeBakey, who consulted on the procedure, says Yeltsin should be back to work full-time within 2 months. On Wall Street, investors happy about Election 96. The Dow is up 58, trading at 61.40. With NBC Radio News, I'm Barbara Porter.
How clean is your laundry? The Gain Ultra 2 Show and Smell Challenge finds out. Hi, I'm the Gain Man. What's your name?
Hi, Darla.
You tried Gain Ultra 2, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Well, tell me about Gain. What do you like about it?
I have 2 girls that play sports, that clean their clothes.
Do you have some clean laundry you can bring us so we can smell how clean it is?
You want to come in?
What do we have here, Darla?
My children's uniforms.
What did this look like before you washed it in Gain Ultra 2?
Pretty sweaty and dirty.
Well, let's see if it smells as good as it looks. Oh, Darla, that's not just plain clean, that's Gain clean. Congratulations, you've passed the challenge.
Presenting the world's first full-color radio commercial for the new Meta color imaging system. One machine that makes 2-sided full-bleed laser color copies, prints, scans, sorts, staples, and more. Just listen to the really red reds, magnificently green greens, and bluer than blue blues. Now, without one of those new color radios, you can't hear how beautiful this color is, but at least you can still see it. The new Meta CI 7500 color imaging system.
Price sells cars. And at Leith Chrysler, Jeep, Eagle, Dodge, Isuzu, now's the best time to buy. It's the end of 96 clearance and the introductory of the 97s. Plus, Leith has an overflow of pre-owned cars with over 200 makes and models to choose from. Save now on the sporty utility vehicles like the Jeep and Isuzu, to the Chrysler LHS and Town & Country, to the Dodge Avenger and Eagle Talon, and the affordable Neon. Price sells, and Leith has the numbers to prove it. Leith Chrysler, Jeep, Eagle, Dodge, Isuzu, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro.
Well, low-level moisture remains fairly abundant across the area this afternoon in the wake of this morning's fog and low clouds. We'll see quite a bit of sunshine for the afternoon hours. A few clouds mixed in, though, so we'll call it partly cloudy with light winds and highs reaching about 71 to 76. Tonight, variably cloudy skies. Again, some patchy fog possible with lows in the mid to upper 50s. And we'll see more clouds than sun on Thursday with some widely scattered showers or storms possible. Most of those after lunchtime. Tomorrow, high about 73 to 78. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Rush Limbaugh, EIB Network, Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. And you should be optimistic, ladies and gentlemen, especially based on expectations. Based on expectations isn't what happens a huge positive. No question about it. And if you doubt that, hang in and we'll tell you why as the program continues to unfold on the EIB Network. Nice to have you along with us.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America, the way it ought to be. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Phone number, if you want to join us, is 800-282-2882. Vote turnout, 49% of registered voters last night. An all-time record low in recent years. Not all-time, I mean, it's a record low. It's, you know, back in the Kennedy-Nixon race in 1960, you know what the registered voter turnout was? 62%. And it was like 54% in 92, 51% in 88. This is an all-time, well, not an all-time, it's a low. It is a disgraceful low. Now, here's the way I look at this, though. Okay, so 49% of registered voters voted. Of those 49%, Bill Clinton got 49%. If you run the numbers, that means that 25% of eligible voters voted for Bill Clinton. 49% of those who voted for him, but 49% didn't vote, period, so that could also be said they didn't vote for him. He got 25% of all votes, and he's out there claiming a mandate. He's out there claiming, we've united America, we're bringing people together, we're going to do it all. President, did you know his speech last night after his victory, his acceptance speech? Looking to the heavens. He's looking up. My mama, she's looking down, smiling. She said she never had a doubt. My friend Ron Brown, he's up there, Shazam, he's looking up there. He said, I never had a doubt. We didn't hear anything about whether or not Vince Foster is looking down. And whatever his thoughts might have been. One of the interesting things, of course, last night is the gender gap, the arousal gap. Women went for Clinton 54% to 38% for Dole. Now that Jonathan Alter of Newsweek says that we may be seeing the feminization of American politics. Can I address this for just a second? I did this yesterday, and I want to expand on this a little bit. What is this feminization of things anyway? I thought there were no differences between men and women. Haven't the militant feminists over the recent 2 decades, 2.5 decades, let's say 3 decades, to be honest actually about it, past 3 decades, haven't they been promoting the notion there aren't any differences other than these minor little physiological things that can't do anything about? A womb, for example, damn it. But other than that, there aren't any differences. And yet, we're looking now at the feminization of American politics. I would say we're looking at the feminization of democratic politics. I don't know about American politics. But the fact of the matter is, there is, I'd say Marta last night went to bed embarrassed as an American female. She said to me, how can so many women look at that guy and not see him the way I do? And, I mean, Diana Schneider, editorial babe, Limbaugh letter, same thing. I mean, you all know women, we've heard them on this program, who are repulsed. Marta said, you know what you ought to tell these women that voted for Clinton? That if their husband ever cheats on them, you got to love him more now. Husband ever cheats on you, you got to love him more. You got to hope he succeeds even more. Keeps cheating on you, love him more. If you're going to be consistent. David Marinus in the Washington Post. I feel like I'm in a haunted house here. Listen to this passage from the Washington Post today. The essential questions for President Clinton now are whether he will reveal himself in a different and truer way, whether his second term will be a departure or a continuation, and how he will try to define himself in his administration for history. Have we not been through this define himself stuff? Wasn't that what the whole first 2.5 years was about? Every day, will he find his voice? Every day, we're now going to be, look, how is he going to define himself? Nobody knows, because every day is a different day with him. Whatever he thinks he needs to improve himself, to help himself on every day is what he's going to do. And until the day dawns, we won't know what it's going to be. Nor will he. He has no definition other than to say he has no definition. Which is to say, whatever will help his sorry white rear end on a daily basis is what he's going to do. And that's why everybody's talking about the relationship he's going to have with the Republican Congress. My friends, the real question is, what relationship is he going to have with the liberal Congress? Because, my friends, he sold those guys out. He sold them out. He sold them out on welfare reform. He adopted a conservative agenda to get elected. He adopted the advice of the toe sucker Dick Moore. Hey, speaking of that, Time Magazine special election issue. Now, get this. According to Clinton Gore pollsters Mark Penn and Doug Schoen, 37% of voters said the Dick Morris scandal made them more likely to vote for Bill Clinton. That's in special election issue of Time Magazine. What I tell you about the arousal gap? CBS had Morris on last night. CBS had Morris on as an analyst. Oh, trying to up their ratings. Here's a credible guy. No, his problem with I want to see the liberals. He sold them out, folks, and they know it. They know he's sold. And they know now that there aren't the votes to fix welfare reform in the Congress. It's not going to happen, and he's not going to make any move to do it anyway. He just said he was going to do it. Battle in the Democratic Party as well as a battle in the Republican Party. Democrats going to have their warring factions, the moderates, the liberals, the extremists, all going to vie for supremacy. Republicans, the same thing is going to happen. You're going to have a bunch of finger pointing in the Republican Party over the presidential loss, and it's a mistake. The Republicans don't have to do anything but affirm their conservatism and find some new people to front it. Why do you say I ask that? Well, let me tell you, folks, and many of you think, oh, Rush, no. Look, this bull in the China shop conservatism's got to stop. Now, that's why we're in trouble, son. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you got to back off now. You understand that? You got to back off. No, I don't think we do. And let me give you 3 reasons why. Senate races. First in Arkansas. Tim Hutchinson wins. Big race. He's a member of Congress, 2-term member of Congress. He ran for the seat vacated by the retiring David Pryor, 3-term Democrat. And he ran saying he wanted to be a conservative force in Washington. This is Bill Clinton's state. And a conservative wins a seat in the Senate from Arkansas for the first time since 1879. And he ran as a conservative. He didn't run hiding behind the skirts of anybody. He didn't ride or run hiding from Newt Gingrich or anybody else. He ran as a full-bore conservative. Let's go to Nebraska, where Chuck Hagel, an investment banker in Omaha. Investment banker. Do you know what Democrats think of investment bankers? They're the evil rich. He's running for the seat of James Exxon, a Democrat. Nebraskans elected Chuck Hagel, first Republican senator since 1972. They elected him over a former governor. Hagel supported in his campaign a 15% tax cut, and he wants to wipe out the education department. Now, we are told that the mantra was Medicare, environment, education, and whatever. We're told that the Democrats made great hay by saying we got to give more to education, and running against Republicans said they want to cut it. Here's a guy who wins the first Republican Senate seats in 1972, running on the agenda of a 15% tax cut and getting rid of the Department of Education. My friends, there's a message here. And this man won big. He won 56-42%. There's a message here. The message is that conservatism, honestly presented, is what this country is all about. The people know this government's gotten too big, and it's got to be slowed down. Now, you may be saying, well, Rush, what's the appeal of Clinton? Folks, there's a lot of dynamics, powerful forces in a presidential race. One is the opponent. One is the incumbent. One is the state of the economy. Number that you need to know. 1992, 19% of the American people thought the economy was okay. Last night, 60% of the people thought the economy is okay. What'd I tell you? Last night, get this in New York State. Try this. New York State exit poll. 61% of the people think that you can cut taxes and balance the budget at the same time. New York State. They vote for Bill Clinton, even though that's what Bob Dole's out there saying he's going to do. But how many New Yorkers, had they even believed Bob Dole, are going to vote Republican for president? There are just some of these powerful forces that are tough to overcome, and it requires a lot of things that were not present here. But I think we could all say that the Republican presidential message was not conservative. Could we not? We could say that, I think, fairly... you might want to say, okay, it was conservative in a winding road sort of way, but it was not proudly conservative. It just wasn't at any level. Now the state of Oregon. This race, the last news I had out of Oregon was before the program started, and this was with 84% of the votes in. Gordon Smith, the Republican, was up 49 to 47%. And it was expected to hold. He is another man, staunch conservative, running for the seat of Mark Hatfield. Liberal Democrat. May as well be. Liberal Republican. But he ran as a conservative. This guy who tried for Packwood's seat and failed, trying again here in Hatfield's loss. And I haven't heard anything since before noon Eastern Time when the 84% vote. In fact, have them check on this, see if there's any more on it. But these three states are huge, both in their meaning and in the practical reality. The Senate now, my friends, not only has more Republicans than it had, the Republicans it has are more conservative than ever. The conservative Senate may be more conservative than the House as a result of last night's races. That's a twist as well. We got to take a break. We'll get back. Your phone calls are next after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
I want to welcome back to the program original Australian UGG sheepskin footwear. Now, if you recall, UGG boots took the nation by storm some time back, probably as a result of advertising on my program. UGG footwear is great looking, it's distinctive, durable, comfortable beyond belief. Because of UGG's extraordinary popularity, other products have entered the marketplace. You got to watch out for these fakes and frauds and wannabes, folks. They're everywhere. Make sure you ask for and get original UGG boots. They have a complete line of sheepskin footwear products featuring the ever-popular UGG boots and casuals for everyday wear. They come in lots of great colors, and you can wear them indoors and out. They have slippers, too. UGGs are perfect for men, perfect for women, children, and seniors. And now there's a number to call for a store near you, 800-729-8447. Write the number down. This is where you find out where the nearest UGG retailer to you is, 800-729-8447. You're going to love UGGs. Get your first pair. You'll love them just as I do.
Want to know what really turns a man on?
Lips,
Uh-huh.
eyes,
Ooh.
legs to the sky, and a real well-developed Farmano nasal organ.
Vermano what?
This Wednesday, explore the science of sex on the Discovery Channel. Is a tiny organ in our nose what's really driving us into our lover's arms? Uncover the mysteries of science and sex on Discover Magazine. Now on Wednesday nights at 9 on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
This is John Lewis of O'Berry & Lewis Insurance. I want to say thanks for the thousands of people who have made our company a success. Since 1927, we have enjoyed serving the insurance needs of families and businesses with consultation, appropriate coverage, and fast, efficient claim service. I invite everyone to find out why so many continue to enjoy the security of insured protection through the many nationally known companies we represent. Call or come by 200 East Spruce Street, Goldsboro, O'Berry and Lewis.
You could get a big dog, but that can't stop an energy thief because he's already in your house. That thief is your home's old heating system and is stealing valuable energy. Call your Carrier dealer, the only one with the Weathermaker Infinity, a Carrier gas furnace so incredibly efficient it can save you up to 40% on your heating bills. Call for your free savings estimate.
Hasty Air Conditioning, Arrington Bridge Road, Goldsboro. Your local Carrier dealer. Call 735-4430.
Tar Heel basketball fans, get your official Carolina basketball poster at Sportsman's World in Kinston, Smithfield, Selma, and 402 North Spence Avenue, Goldsboro. These calendars include color pictures and autographs of the players, Dean Smith, and all the coaches, the Tar Heels basketball schedule, and more. A limited supply, so hurry in to get your Tar Heel basketball calendar poster while supplies last at Sportsman's World in Kinston, Smithfield, Selma, and 402 North Spence Avenue in Goldsboro. They're free for the asking. Get yours today.
What I'm about to tell you may seem hard to believe. It may even seem impossible. But I assure you it's true. With medical costs skyrocketing at an incredible rate, Shriners Hospitals continue to help children by providing some of the world's finest medical care for the exact same price they charged nearly 75 years ago. Nothing. To find out more, call this toll-free number, 1-800-237-5055.
It's the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, Rush Limbaugh from the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Back to the phones now. A lot of people with a lot to say. This is Maureen in Orlando. Welcome.
Hi, mega dittos from a mom in Orlando who's never been prouder not to be a soccer mom, to be a baseball and a volleyball mom.
Thanks for the call.
I just wanted to call and say that I've always liked David Brinkley. I endorsed Bob Dole. I do think we had a conservative message. I'm disgusted with the women's vote. I don't understand it.
How do you explain it?
In trying to understand it, the only thing I can think of is that maybe women are too busy and don't have a chance to research the issues, and they go by these terrible commercials that Clinton put out. I saw on C-SPAN the Dole commercials were everything the media said they wanted them to be. They were issue-oriented. The Clinton commercials were terrible. They tried to con people into believing they could buy a student loan.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. This is what really is, over the long haul, this is the challenge. I don't care what ideological movement or party takes it up. This is the challenge. If this country is to survive, the dependence cycle of the middle class has got to stop. There are too many people who, for too long, think that they can't get through life without government being involved. And all you have to do is run a commercial claiming that some politician is going to take something away from you.
That's right.
And it worked. I think that these women, soccer moms or whatever you want to call them, I think they were approached on an emotional level. They responded on an emotional level. I don't know whether they've got time to be informed or not, but I think it is fascinating, and this we need to promote this and not de-emphasize it.
Right.
We need to really emphasize the point that the feminists have been telling us that men and women are not different, and yet we're learning with these elections of Bill Clinton that they are different, and you got to go after women in a different way than you go after men, and you don't do it cerebrally.
Right. Well, I think that one of the things that David Brinkley is disgusted, and I think that, people have a real fear of their life and liberty with the Clinton administration. And I think that anyone who's done any research or followed them at all needs to know that and has to know it. And I think they're only fooling themselves if they're willing to sell those things out for, like I said, a student loan or a Medicare, lower Medicare deductible or something like that. It's just very disappointing to me that American women or I don't know if it's the elderly. I haven't seen the results of the elderly, those type of gaps. But it's just disappointing to me that people don't realize what.
Well, Clinton won Florida first time, and Democrats won Florida in a long time. That's that's the Medicare scare.
Yeah, well, not our county. Orange County and Seminole County went for Dole. So.
Well, hip hip hooray!
We have to be proud of that.
Yeah, that's Disney country, of course.
Right.
That's so anyway, Maureen, thanks much for the call. By the way, I'm not trying to be insulting here. I'm just being factual. When I say that these soccer moms were approached emotionally, not cerebrally. The Dole campaign tried cerebral. They tried issue-oriented things. They tried debunking the myths. Didn't work. They didn't use any emotion at all. Clinton campaign was totally emotional. Now, I got a fax. We had a call yesterday, somebody praising Camille Paglia. And I got a fax today from somebody who heard the Camille Paglia interview that this woman called yesterday about and said the woman that called us missed the point. And this is from Pam in Martinez, California. She said that most importantly, Camille Paglia mentioned the gender gap. In fact, Camille Paglia called it the arousal gap, quote, as Rush Limbaugh calls it. She quoted me. And explained what it is about women and Bill Clinton. This is Camille Paglia's view. She said what causes the arousal gap is the fact that women like the bad boy. And Clinton fits that mold perfectly. We all think we could be the ones to save him. And Pam from Martinez thinks that that's correct, that Camille Paglia is right. For some reason, lots of women love the rogue, the one who's rough and unpredictable, the one who's a little out of reach. That's what the arousal gap is. Now I can understand that in high school. Does that hold true for married moms? Well, it doesn't hold true in my wife. Now, wait a second. Why do we make these blanket statements? I don't know any of these soccer moms. I've talked to a couple of them on the phone here. But the women I know do not react that way to Bill Clinton. Now, who are these women? I mean, I know they're there. We got the exit polling data. They're proudly admitting they voted for Clinton. So I know they're there, but I know somebody loves Charles Manson. How do you explain that? Well, Manson, didn't he rope them in with some drugs, too? There's a little bit going on. But, I mean, look, all these... Somebody wants to marry that stupid Ramirez idiot. Out in California, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. So forth. These are inexplicable things. The bottom line, folks, the bottom line, bottom line, as we talk about the feminization of the American political system. And I know you're going to get tired of hearing this from me, but feminism, militant feminism, has been one of my pet peeves for 10 years. And longer than that. And I think these militant feminists have been wrong. I think they are unhappy, miserable, angry people. They are divisive. They hate men. They are anti-men, and they've been out there saying there's no difference. And it's only because of the way we're raised that women play with dolls and men play with guns and toy ammo and all that stuff. It's only because of the way we're raised that a little girl's room is painted pink and a little boy's room is painted camouflage green and all that. Well, they've done the studies and they found out it's not just because of the way they're raised, that there are differences. And this campaign proves there are differences. This campaign disproves the whole premise of militant feminism. This campaign proves the difference. It proves that you have to approach women in an entirely different way to get their support than the way you approach men. And when's the last time you can recall a campaign targeting to male voters in such a way as to make the men cry? How often did that happen in this campaign? On the Clinton side, every damn day. The convention, was the king of the hill of that. There's a huge difference, folks. Feminism, militant feminism, has just been discredited by the liberal Democratic Party.
Light the life of someone special this holiday. International Star Registry will name a star for anyone on your list. Call 800-282-3333 for the International Star Registry's gift package. It includes a 4-color hand calligraphy parchment certificate, booklet on astronomy, and sky charts to help you locate the star for just $45 plus shipping and handling. The new name will be permanently recorded in the registry Swiss vault. Call now to order 800-282-3333. 800-282-3333.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
For WGBR News, I'm Thomas Vick. The new team of Wayne County Commissioner candidates, with the exception of Andy Anderson, were not successful in getting into office after yesterday's unofficial election numbers were tallied. Betty Jones lost to Jimmy Ford. Dorothy Hardy lost to John Wooten. John Tart was victorious over Afton Sager. Ed Wharton lost to D.J. Pelt, and Irvin Watts lost to Hardy Sullivan. Andy Anderson defeated Lehman Smith. As far as the Board of Education is concerned, Pete Gurley defeated I.K. Williamson. Shirley Sims Stewart defeated Sharon Bledsoe, and Thelma Smith defeated Hilda Hicks. For State House, Phil Bedore defeated Lewis Pate, Carolyn Russell defeated Ronald Burrell, and John Sherman Best lost to Jerry Braswell. Senator John Carr retained his Senate seat by defeating Steve Brannon. And other election results, the city's $9.5 million bond referendum passed. State school and highway bonds on the county ballot passed. All 3 constitutional amendments on the local ballot also passed. In the 8th Judicial District Judgeship race, David Brantley defeated Jan Kroboth, and Paul Jones defeated Paul Clevenger. According to information released by the Wayne County Board of Elections, there was around a 63% voter turnout at the polls yesterday. The results from yesterday's election will be canvassed this Friday morning at 11 o'clock. New security systems for school media centers, complete funding of teacher training labs, and new equipment for science labs are all on the way for Wayne County high schools. The price, an estimated $188,000. New books for Charles B. Aycock High School students are also included in the price tag. To cover the expense, the school board has agreed to take out of its $2.7 million reserve account a total of $700,000. After the transfer of funds, $512,000 will be allocated for future school technology improvements. School board member James Parker says he agrees with spending money in this fashion. Adding money in the school's reserve needs to be used wisely or given back to the county commissioners. Parker says it simply does not need to sit and build up in the account. After all, a large reserve account is why county commissioners for years refused to provide additional school funding. School Superintendent Dr. Ray Brayboy says spending the money for a better classroom is something the administration fully endorses. No board member expressed opposition for spending money to better the classroom. However, school board member John Phil Grantham said he just heard about plans to spend the money this way, and due to the amount of money involved, he would need more details on the exact expenditures before making a decision. Grantham voted against the $700,000 transfer. I'm Thomas Vick for WGBR News.
Well, we had quite a bit of low cloudiness and fog across the area earlier today. That's broken up for the most part now, and we'll call it partly cloudy for the afternoon. Should be fairly mild out with a light southeasterly wind, and highs running about 71 to 76 degrees. Tonight, we'll call it variably cloudy. Again, could see some areas of fog form up with lows in the mid to upper 50s, and we'll see quite a bit of cloud cover on Thursday with some widely scattered showers or storms possible, most of those coming during the afternoon or evening. Tomorrow's high 73 to 78. I'm Mike Hollis at the Weather Center.
Well, at noon, the stock market, Dow Jones Industrial Average, continues to climb. It's at 51.44. And this simply means that Wall Street's happy with what happened. And what do we have? We got divided government. We got arguments. We got debates. And what does that mean? It means that not one party is going to have the power to increase government spending. Wall Street knows you give a Democratic Congress to Bill Clinton and it's Katie Barr the door. You got new government spending, giveaway programs left and right, welfare reform, fixes, repairs. Wall Street is happy, as all of us should be, that we now have divided government. I think it's so silly for the president to say. It stretches credulity, I think, to say, or credibility to say, that the voters who send a congressional Republican victory along with a Democratic presidential victory are saying they want us to work together. That is the kind of convoluted, and he knows it's dishonest thinking and logic. Bill Clinton says they want us to work together. We got to put aside our differences. All that means is you guys just give up what you believe and come along with me. That's all he means by it. And to say that's what the election means. So we've increased the number of conservative Republicans in the Senate. We've increased the number of Republicans in the Senate. We have held on to a sizable majority in the House. And Bill Clinton says the message is they want us to work together. They want us bickering and arguing. That's the message of this. The press is gonna go out and find the mealy-mouthed whiners, folks. I don't like all this bickering and arguing. Can't they just get along? You're gonna be treated all that. But the fact of the matter is, as Wall Street indicates here, they don't want any more runaway spending. They want, in fact, government spending cuts. And they are confident they're going to get it with this division that occurs. They're, in essence, saying, thank gosh, the brakes have been applied to Bill Clinton and his quest for a historical legacy, which would be to give away the country if he could in these next 4 years. Irma in Bellingham, Washington. Hello. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program. I'm glad you called.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I actually called to thank you for how you've informed the public. We had never, my husband and I, weren't always listening to you because we really didn't know much about you. But my father-in-law kept saying, listen to Rush Limbaugh. So we started listening to you, and this is the first year. Last year we didn't vote Republican, and we kind of regret it. It put in the wrong person in. We actually voted for Perot, and after that we started.
By the way, speaking of that, what do you think the Perot vote result this time was?
I thought it was
Who did Perot take votes away from?
You know, I really don't know. I would like to get a profile on the people who did vote for Perot. I mean, what were they looking forward to in the next 4 years? I really can't answer that.
Well, we have a gut feeling about it?
Do I have a gut feeling? People that were indecisive. People that were maybe not totally informed.
I think were they inclined to vote for Clinton? Did he hurt Dole or Clinton the most, is what I'm saying. He got 8% of the vote.
Oh, well, he did, but that's kind of a really small percentage, isn't it?
Well, if you add it to Dole, you still have a tie, but you don't have an electoral tie because, Perot didn't win any states, so.
That's right.
He didn't get any electoral votes. Zip in the electoral vote count for the Little General.
That's correct.
But he would have tied the popular vote had it all gone to Dole. If it had all gone to Dole, it still wouldn't have been a victory.
No, I know.
So you have to assume that many of the votes came from Clinton.
Most likely.
I am sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely certain. Perot is always going to take votes away from an incumbent. Irma, thanks for the call. You're very kind. Welcome home. Welcome to the fold. It's nice to have you as our audience now will expand at record rates, my friends. Because there's going to be one place in this country you can go for the unashamed, proud presentation of the conservative ideals. It will be right here on the EIB Network. Bob in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. You're next in the Rush Limbaugh program. Hi.
Hi, Rush. I have a couple of questions, but first I'd just like to make a short statement.
Sure.
I am a Vietnam-era veteran. I'm 53 years old, and I voted independent because...
Does that mean Perot?
No. I voted for another candidate, Mr. Harry Brown.
Yeah, the Libertarian candidate, yeah.
Right. I didn't want to vote for Bill Clinton because I know he's not honest. My mother was born 83 years ago in North Little Rock, Arkansas. To me, she's a saint. And I really don't appreciate your putting all Arkansans, as Clinton people.
When did I do that?
Well, in some of your comments, you made reference to Arkansas people. But anyway...
when?
It had to be 2 or 3 weeks ago. And not only that, I'm glad that a Republican won in Arkansas. My views are mostly conservative, but I have to differ with Bob Dole on a lot of his agendas. And you made a statement this morning on the radio here about 18 to 30-year-olds perceive politicians as crooked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm an ex-New Yorker.
Well, then you know they all are. You don't perceive it.
Well, I not all of them, but I would imagine 90% in New York.
Statistically, that's all of them.
And, well, and you made reference a couple of days ago to Mr. Dinkins.
General Dinkins, yes.
And he didn't pay taxes for 3 years.
But
he admitted it.
That's true, but he's black.
Well, Martin Luther, not on the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Dinkins had no character. If he had any character, when that was exposed, he should have resigned from running in the race.
Well, but Bob, you got to understand something here about all this. When General Dinkins ran and won the primary, New York was cleaner, smelled better. The hobos were nicer. The press said everybody was just, it was a new day in New York. It meant so much good. There was it was a rebirth of the city on the day after the primary. That this little matter of him not paying taxes for 3 years swept under the rug. I mean, it's the least we can do to make things even is to forget all that and not make a big deal out of it. We don't want to discriminate. So we didn't. Thanks for the call, Bob. Quick break. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network. You don't accept anything less than excellence in broadcasting, so why should you accept anything but excellence in fitness? Since you demand the best, Nordic Track proudly introduces the revolutionary new Plus Series skiers, still the most effective at burning calories, toning muscles, and improving cardiovascular fitness. Now, designed to make getting in shape faster, easier, and simpler than ever before. With over 100 design innovations, Nordic Track engineers took the legendary flywheel technology that gives the skier its smooth, continuous motion and added it to the upper body exerciser. They've also made the skis wider, the base lower to the ground, and the settings even easier to adjust than before, making the world's best aerobic exerciser even better. Call 1-800-TRACK-60 today to order or for a free video and brochure. Let one of our trained fitness consultants help you decide which model best fits your needs. Don't wait for the year 2000. Call 1-800-TRACK-60 today. 1-800-TRACK-60.
What would happen to you and your family if your income stopped due to a disability caused by sickness or accident? Disability Income Protection from Auto Owners Insurance provides money to replace loss of income when you become disabled. An Auto Owners Disability Income Policy covers you on or off the job 24 hours a day, providing family security with income protection through your Auto Owners agent. Brewers Insurance, 133 North Center Street, Mount Olive. Call 658-8585.
Where do you go for the best in seafood and steaks? Captain Bob's Seafood is where. Captain Bob's is now celebrating 14 years of serving the people in the Goldsboro area, and they're here to stay. Captain Bob's is open for lunch and dinner. Be sure to try their daily lunch specials and their full line of steaks, priced right. And for the health conscious, there's even broiled seafood. Captain Bob's Seafood, 430 North Berkeley Boulevard in Goldsboro. It's Captain Bob's Seafood.
Good day, Mr. Phelps. Take a close look at this photograph. It's a picture of the service department at James Finch Chevrolet. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take your team and check out every inch of this service facility. My sources tell me it's the finest in the area. Check out their tools. Check out their technicians. You'll find they're all factory trained, I'm sure. Find out why they're known as the place for top quality service. Once you have this information, report to me immediately. And by the way, Jim, if any of our vehicles need service, get it done at James Finch Chevrolet, 400 West Main Street in Bailey, LBJ Chevrolet Buick in Nashville, and Finchwood Chevrolet in Roanoke Rapids. Remember, Jim, this tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. James Finch Chevrolet, where better service is always possible. James Finch Chevrolet.
Join 1150 WGBR for NASCAR racing throughout the 1996 season with Winston Cup, Busch, and Super Truck Racing.
The presidential race out of this analysis for a second, and we're searching for other reasons here for you to be optimistic, my friends. Look at how many lies were rejected by the voters. The union lies were rejected. 70 freshmen were up for re-election. Big Labor targeted those 70 and 5 other Republicans, with what may have been a total expenditure exceeding $60 million. I saw a figure last night that the average amount spent trying to defeat the freshmen who were targeted by Big Labor was $3 million per campaign. $3 million of lies. They didn't work. Look at the lies that were told the people of California by supposed highly respected celebrities about Proposition 209. Look at the lies that were not believed. Look at the lies that were defeated. My friends, if you're looking around for optimism, you can find it. If you want to talk about the presidential race and say, yeah, but look at the lies which weren't, you could also say those lies were not effectively refuted by the people who had to refute them. I mean, there has to be, campaign has to be 2 equal parts, and there wasn't that. But you take a look at some of these lies that were just knocked out of the ballpark, and you have to feel optimistic about it. You know what surprised me last night? I was watching the KNBC West Coast feed last night, and it's about 11:20 or so, or some, I forget what. Maybe it's shortly after the polls have closed out there, and it's between Dole and Clinton speeches, I believe. And they cut to Prop 209 headquarters. Now, this race is over at the moment the polls close. It's not even close, Prop 209. Here's KNBC saying if the race remains too close to call at this time. It was like 2% of the vote in. It was 56 to 32. It's too close to call. Jay Leno is there. Jay Leno is at Prop 209, anti-Prop 209 headquarters. And they went to him and they said, Jay, you don't get involved in politics very much. How come you're here? He said, look, I'm only here after the vote. I didn't get out here before the vote, but I just don't think we're ready for this yet. We need another 10 to 15 years. But I don't think we're ready. I don't think that we have a level playing field yet. Man, I'll tell you, the things that pass for enlightened intelligence in this country just amaze me. But at any rate, the lies were not believed. The lies were knocked out of the park. Those of you who want to sit there and condemn the American voter, part of it I can understand at the presidential level, but I think there are reasons. People